Where's he at?
Welcome to the December 16th, 2025 Jefferson Township Board meeting. I don't know where Dave's at. What's he planning on?
He's planning on being here, I think.
Okay. So go over a couple of quick things. We'll have time for the public to speak. So when we call up for public time for meeting, if you haven't already signed in, there's another sign-up sheet right there on the desk to talk, but you'll have to come up front and sit at the desk to make your public comment. You'll be limited to 3 minutes.
Who's the timekeeper?
I'll have the time on my phone here. Well, besides that, I think that's all I have. We do try to be respectful to other people's time, and if you feel like anybody's getting out of hand, I will have one of the sheriff's deputy lock you out. So. Go ahead with that.
Let's give him a little bit more time.
Okay.
I couldn't find a place to park.
I know all you gotta do is ship the headlight back to China and then get it fixed again, sell it.
That's what we could do. So people do that.
Tell me you guys wanna do that?
What?
Tell me you guys wanna do that?
Because we're a dealership. We just throw them away.
Throw them away.
Now some tractors got cords on them, so they take them back. And I don't know what they do.
We know what they do.
Push down, look up, and they said leave the money all the time. It's on now. It's time to start.
You ready? Okay. I call the Jefferson Township Board meeting for December 16th at 6:03 p.m. First on the agenda,
Put on your agenda.
approve the minutes. Anybody got any questions on the minutes?
I don't. I really don't, so they ought to be good for me.
Okay. You want to make a motion then to accept them?
Yeah, since I wrote them, when you guys make the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 11:03 and 10:22.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The fire agreement, open for public feedback before we discuss and vote.
All right, didn't really have anybody sign up to say they want to speak on this, but if anybody wants to come up front, you have to say your name, where you live at in Jefferson Township, because this is Jefferson Township, not Bluffton or Lancaster, Harrison Township business. So if anybody wants to come up, say something, this is your time to present.
This is for the, talking about the fire agreement.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. My name is Debbie Cushman. I live at 1138 East, 1050 North. Just a little less than 2 miles outside of Ossian. And from what I read in the paper and things I've read online, it seems like this disagreement is personal and petty, and you need to get over it and sign the fire agreement. I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got something to say. My name is William Thelma. I live in the town of Ossian in the township. I live in town now.
Well, now, this agreement is for people that live outside of Austin, not in Austin.
Right, but I still live within the township. You understand that, sir, right? That is the township, even if it is within the town.
Well, you need to talk to the town for your fire protection.
This is just open to the public, right, sir?
Correct. This is open to the public, so he's a member of Jefferson Township.
So
He's
I
got fire
did,
protection, but he can speak.
I did have a little bit of a speech written tonight, but I'm just gonna kind of go off of what I was initially gonna write, but do you know the term accountability? The term accountability, do you know the term accountability? Okay, are you also familiar with the term negligence? Okay, can you tell me the definition of that, please? No comment? You don't know?
No, I don't know where you're
Okay,
going with
okay,
that.
so-
I'll tell you.
Don't interrupt me, I'm still talking, it's my time, don't interrupt me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You
don't
a-
have to
you
say-
asked?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
asked.
yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
do you want to give me the definition?
Go ahead. Let it
You
go.
want
Go ahead.
me to? You want to give it to me?
It's your
I
time,
don't
you
have
talk.
blood
Yeah,
pressure
go
issues,
ahead.
but you're giving me some. You guys
Go
are
ahead.
useless. You're elected officials in an elected position, right? You just do what's for the people. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm pissed. Everyone's pissed. This is ridiculous. People of Jefferson Township deserve way better than what we have up here right now. You guys are useless. Absolutely useless. I'm furious. Furious are all the people, my friends, my family that all live within the township. This is crazy. How long does this have to go on for? Does someone have to die? That's what negligence would be. Someone has to get hurt. Someone has to lose their life, their entire house. This is insane. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that it, NAJ, or they got other comments?
I think there's more people that want to say.
I'm Jill Bauermeister. I live 6200 East, 1000 North on Davis Road. I'm kind of new to this. I've heard a little bit about it. I guess I'll look at it at a different perspective than anger. I work at a hospital, and I got off my shift. Well, it's a 10-hour shift. Ended up being an 11-hour shift. I work at a cardiac unit. of first responders. Kind of our friends when we're working in the hospital. I have family at home. I have a elderly mother who lives about half a mile away from me. And we choose to keep her at home. And it does scare me to the fact that we won't have what we think is fire protection for her, or even my son who lives in Silo Farms, and even for my new house that I built, but more or less about my family. And I just want to know, we work to keep the backs of everybody else's family members where I work. We work very hard to keep people alive. And that's what I'm asking from all of you, to understand that people that work at the hospital have family at home that depend on these kind of services. And if we don't have these services for them, who's got my back for my family? I certainly have your guys' back if your family members come through our cardiac unit. So I'm going to look at it a different side. I'm not going to look at it at anger side. Just a question. And so what do you need to think about? I worked 11 hours today over my shift. We had a hard day. And I don't want to see somebody's house being burnt down to the ground with a family member in it. Because we can't agree with what's going on. Doesn't make any sense. We got enough problems in the world that we don't need this kind of stuff going on either. That's the way I look at it. I do pay taxes, lots of taxes. I own a lot of farm ground too. I pay a lot of taxes into this. So.
All right, thank you, Jill. Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, not hearing any more or seeing anybody getting up, we'll go ahead and move on to our portion of this.
I've got something to say then.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Tim, turn your mic towards you. Thank you.
Can you hear me? You've got to realize what the board has been presented and the timeline things have happened. Let me read you a little bit of the timeline. We started working on this contract clear back June 12th, 2025, back in June. The township requested some changes to the fire agreement for 2026. We had a meeting on July 23rd. The township was informed that the town had declined any changes that the township had asked for. Response to the changes was made by the fire chief, but our contract is with the town. On 10/22, the township was presented a contract for the 2026 fire protection that was signed by the Ossian Town Council. All of the updates that we had put into the 2025 contract had been removed. The accountability, the providing receipts, if there was any money left, half of it came back to the township. All that had been removed. This is a picture of the 2025 contract, and this is the deletions, omissions, and removal of the accountability, and the final part where if there's money left at the end of the year, the township gets half. Now this is the last piece of paper that this board has seen in a meeting. This was the last thing we was asked to sign. And we didn't sign it because the accountability had been removed. On 11/5, Ossian Council called a special meeting and approved an updated version of the 2026 contract that had the updates from the 2025 agreement put back in it. Okay. So they had a special meeting and approved it. I sent AJ an email on November 8th. It said, AJ, the only days I have available are Wednesdays. Let me know as much in advance as possible. And it was under a heading on the email, meeting times. On November 10th, he responded, our next scheduled meeting is December 16th. The only reason to hold a meeting earlier would be to approve the fire agreement, not a fire agreement, not to discuss anything that the board wanted. It was the fire agreement. So he didn't want to have a meeting before tonight. So that's what this board has had to look at. This is the only piece we've been presented to sign in a meeting. We've not been able to have any input on anything we wanted updated on that contract. And there are some updates I would have requested. But the other thing is, let me read what the code is for this. It's code 36-8-13-3. The executive of the township, that'd be the trustee, with the approval of the legislative body, the advisory board, may do the following. Purchase firefighting and emergency services, apparatus and equipment for the township, provide for housing, care, maintenance, operation, and use of apparatus and equipment to provide services within the township but outside the corporate boundaries of municipalities. Employ full-time or part-time personnel to operate the apparatus and equipment to provide services in that area. That's under heading 1. Under heading 2, there's some more, but it's in material. More talks about employment. Heading 2, contract with the municipality in the township or in a continuous township that maintains adequate firefighting or emergency services, apparatus, and equipment to provide fire protection or emergency services for the township in accordance with Indiana Code 36-1-7. Contract with a volunteer fire department that has been organized to fight fires in the township for the use and operation of firefighting apparatus and equipment that has been purchased by the township, and contract with a volunteer fire department that maintains adequate service in accordance with Indiana Code 36-8-12. And then that pretty much is the part so he needs the approval of the legislative body, but he's got to work with us to get a contract that we feel is fair to the township people. And we started on this clear back in June. We lost 1 month when Larry resigned, and he took the whole month before he got out of office. So in AJ's defense, we lost 1 month there. We lost August. But there's not been, he's tried to contact the other fire departments and that, but he's never came to the board and said, okay, what do we need? What can we do? And see, this went the same way last year. We got to the end and there was no working, Larry wouldn't work with the board. And in a public meeting, we said, let's have an executive session so the board could sit down with the attorney and come up with an agreement. So we had a joint meeting with the town and told them we're working with our attorney to come up with an agreement. And the town said, we don't care about any agreement you're trying to come up with. You figure out what you're gonna do with your fire equipment come December 31st. So I went in, the town, or our township attorney says, well, I can't sit down with all of you guys because it doesn't qualify for executive session. But he said, I can sit with you individually, and each of you can have your input into what you want in a contract. So I went in and sat down with the attorney, and put in the accountability and where the township would receive any money left in there, half of that back, so we didn't lose it if it wasn't used up in fire. And he worked with the town's attorney. The town didn't want to listen to anything we had to say. So our attorney worked with the town attorney, and he must have convinced the town to sign the agreement, and we signed it then. But since then, there's some things that make this contract that there's more need to be added. Find the right paper here. Of the fire budget, the total fire budget is $258,000. Of that $258,000, $145,000 of that is for fire labor. Now we're obligated to pay half that, so we're gonna be obligated, if we sign an agreement, to pay $72,586. Well, the way this agreement is drawn up, there's 3 entities, and this is a rarity. I don't know of any other volunteer fire department that has to have a contract with the guys in the department. In other words, Ossian Fire Inc. contracts with the town of Ossian. And if we're going to put out $72,000, we wanted our name on that contract, so if there's any questions that could be asked of the town or the fire department, we could get answers. And the chief said no. He said the fire agreement between Ossian Fire Inc. for manpower is rewrote to be between Ossian and Jefferson Township. That was my take. Said, should the town and the township wish to rewrite the contract with Ossian Volunteer Fire Inc., be advised, such a move will trigger significant revisions for Ossian Volunteer Fire Inc. Board of Directors. Any renegotiation will be approached seriously and with formal proposals, not vague or unclear demands. And all we want, or I wanted, I don't know, I can't speak for these guys, but if there's questions on, okay, why'd you do this, or how come this money was spent, we need to be able to ask that for the township. We're putting that much money into it. So, I don't know, I got a lot to add to that or not, but well, there's one other thing that I didn't like in this contract too, is I don't know if any of you picked an agenda up. Well, you didn't have, yeah, it's on here. The terms end. All this board up here, our terms end at the end of 26. So if you have one fire agreement and it terminates on 26, where's that going to lead you? That's not a good situation. So that's where the board has worked on this, starting clear back in June, but we've not got any cooperation on, these guys, the firemen come to the meetings, but our contract is with the town. And the town said, well, we tried to have a meeting with the township, but the problem was they notified us on a Friday that they were having a meeting on Monday. Well, by law, you got to advertise that meeting 2 days before, and it has to be advertised because any two of us show up, that's a quorum. So there was no time to advertise that meeting before they said, come to our meeting Monday. So then the town said, okay, Larry was a trustee then. Larry will come to your meeting on Thursday. And Larry said, no, we got too much to take care of. So that was it. So we never have had a formal meeting with the town. So to say it's just this board being negligent is not right. It's not right because we have tried to look out for you people, but we've got no cooperation.
All right, I'm gonna address a couple things here. You always mention it's the trustee's responsibility to come up with these agreements. Yes, that's true, but I don't have any, since I've been trustee, how much feedback have I had from you? How many phone calls have you called me? How many times have you emailed me, hey, what's this stuff? Can we do something more? No, you said, hey, I can meet these days. I need communication before then, Tim.
Let me tell you how they.
Hey, Tim, it's my time to talk. The other thing was accountability. You were talking about the town of Ossian. You know what? They had a clerical issue on that first contract that they signed. They only had the original contract they had last year before we did any updates. They had to go to our lawyer to get the contract that we signed as a township. So they got that contract. That's why they had that second meeting. Once they found out from our meeting, you had that agreement way before then saying, hey, before our meeting, but once they found out during our meeting that the agreement they signed was wrong, that's why they had their meeting in November to say, hey, we messed up. We apologize. We're going to get the correct agreement that you guys agreed to last year, not the one that was wrong one. So that's why they end up signing that other agreement again.
But they had a special meeting to get it done right away, but you never had a meeting after that to get us in there to talk about it.
I had nothing to go on, Tim. I had nothing to go on.
I'll tell you, it's hard for me to give you anything ahead of time, AJ, because I gave you ahead of time, I gave these guys ahead of time a policy for social media, and you posted on your website and try to get the whole town against it. I give it to these guys to look at and discuss at the next meeting. So you destroy a lot of trust when you do stuff like that.
I didn't post it on the Jefferson Township.
No, you posted it on your page, but you tried.
That's my personal page. I can post whatever I want on my personal page. But that's beside the point. That'll be for later on. We're talking the fire agreement right now.
Okay, here's another thing. I looked up on the website fire protection contracts. It's on the State Board of Accounts. It listed some of the ideas for fire contracts. And it tells some of them here. Wayne Township, what they did, provide fire protection via contract with the city of Richmond to all residents in unincorporated areas. But there's one local one, Huntington Township, Huntington Counties. Officials voted unanimously on January 10th to end the contract with the city of Huntington for fire protection in rural areas of Huntington Township, and now contracts with 4 volunteer fire departments within Huntington County. I'm not for starting a new fire department, but I am for getting treated fair. And I am for representing the money the township people pay for fire protection to make sure it is spent wisely. Now, there's another page back here. Financial assistance and additional characteristics. It says, and this is from the State Board of Accounts, the relationship between the township and entity more like a partnership or joint venture with shared purpose rather than vendor-vendee relationship. each party heavily dependent on the other for success and continuation of a program or objective. And I've been on this board for 12 years, 13, according to Larry. He says I got on in 12, and it's been since they have this 3-entity deal, and the contract is with the firemen and the town. It's been them two against the township. Anything that the township brought up, Ossian backs the firemen, and that's the way it is. It needs to be a 3-way deal so we have some say.
Am I allowed to ask you a question?
She had her time, right? Or
Give me a second here. Just, anybody else on the board want to respond?
I do have some questions. Because especially when it comes back to like saying, you know, we want to work with them and stuff and work with find different ways to get fire protection, but we have all these other ones local that say they aren't willing to provide us with fire protection. So that comes to the next thing is like, I know we say that's on AJ to help provide it, but what's the next step for AJ? I mean,
Well-
there's no steps that can be taken when everybody else has said no. And on top of that, has anybody reached out to Ben? I mean, he's the fire chief. Or has anybody reached out to the board? Since I've been on the board, now granted it's been 3 months, but this has been one of the heaviest issues for it. I've not heard or anything about anybody meeting with the board. And I went to a couple of the board meetings myself to kind of see what's going on, ask my own questions, because it's a public board meeting. And being a person of the township, as myself, I felt like I should have a responsibility in asking what's going on. And they said they had no communication with anybody except for AJ. So that's when it's like, we can't leave AJ hanging out there by himself trying to figure this out when this could cost people their lives. And some of this stuff on what you've requested, I don't quite understand what the ramifications really have. Like renaming the fire department to Austin Jefferson Township Fire Department. And I really don't get the part where it's like asking like the fire chief can be removed if it is in the best interest of Austin and Jefferson
that was
Township
crossed
Department.
out. That was crossed out on the paper that was given to them.
Yeah, why was it even brought up though?
Because Ben brought it up.
All right. Hey, guys, quiet. Science, please, quiet.
He's the one that replied to that. I had it originally and it's crossed out on that paper I had. The reason renaming was it needs to be a joint deal. And it's been anything but joint.
But if we haven't had communication with them, how is it joint? If both parties are not willing to meet, then there is no joint.
Like Tim, there's been plenty of times when you could have gone personally to the town's meetings without anybody else. You could have asked questions. I go for other reasons to those meetings, but if I had any questions, they always look at me, hey, you got anything? No, because I don't have any issues with what the fire department's doing. I have nothing against it. I agree with what they're doing. But I don't see why you or David couldn't show up and, hey, I got questions. Can the town answer this for me since we're contracted with them? You guys never show up. What's the responsibility to the people here? You're not showing up to. They
Go back
advertise.
and listen to some of the meetings where Dennis Healing come and how that went down.
That's
How we were treated.
you guys treated them the same way too. That's the trouble. It's a two-way street. It's not one way. It's both people, both parties are at fault when it comes to communication. Like I said, communication from you guys on any of this stuff is nil. Nil.
My communication on that email.
That's the only communication. You didn't say, hey, can you look at this stuff I want to present?
That was clear back right after they approved that, like a couple days after they approved
But
it.
where was the feedback for that? I had nothing else besides you say, I want to meet. Like, why do you want to meet? I told you I don't want to meet unless we're going to approve the fire contract. If we're not going to approve it, then we can just have this meeting today. I have too much much going on in my life to do meetings a whole bunch.
We're arguing here. Let's, I got something to say. This has been going on for longer than what Tim said. It's been going on for 2 years. We went through this last year. And I know some of you were here and some of you wasn't here. And we've been asked to pay half the budget. And right here is a list given to us of what we own of equipment up there, okay? We own this much equipment at that fire station. And we are not getting they're not presenting it that we own anything up there, that we're asking for this or that we're not wanting to give anything. That's not true. You can go back to our minutes and listen to them. We've asked for a meeting with the town. This board has asked and asked and asked. And I can provide you with our agendas where we asked for a meeting with the town of Ossian. And that relies on him, not on us. This board tried this last year. We tried to get something worked out and we got turned down, we got refused, we got told they don't need us nor our equipment, all they need is our money. Well, I didn't take this job to hand over $130,000 without anybody without us having a say-so in it, at least having the ability to get receipts and everything for it. We've been refused all of that. And it's all in our minutes. People can go back and look at it. You can listen to them. Go back and listen. I sat today in my loader and I listened back to last year's meeting about this. After the first of the year, I requested a meeting with Larry right after the first of the year of getting this taken care of, starting it over. AJ himself told the public last year at a meeting in October that he was going to set up a meeting between the town and us. We have not had a single meeting between the town and us to discuss this. And we have asked and asked for it. And I didn't take this job to cut somebody a check and not have no accountability for it. I mean, I've got no problem sitting down and talking it over and having some accountability for it, but I am not going to sign a check to somebody when we have equipment there. We've got some stake in it. As it stands right now, we have some stake in it. If we just cut a check and give all this up, we ain't got a stake in it anymore in Jefferson Township. That's my take on it.
I got a question for Ben. How come you don't want to put the township on the contract with Ossian?
Because the contract, you're paying for services. You're paying for services from the town of Austin. That's what you're doing.
And we're
You're paying
providing an engine that we're paying our last payment on. We're providing turnout gear. So we're providing $72,000 for firefighters. Why don't you want to put us on that contract?
Because you're paying the town of Austin for services. That's why. That's my answer to you.
Well, and that's why we can't seem to get anywhere.
Yes, Bryce.
Are you guys gonna sign fire agreements? That's what I came here for to ask, is are you guys gonna sign?
We haven't brought it up to vote yet. We're discussing it. We're discussing it.
Because the whole thing is everybody in this room knows, and everybody on Facebook knows, if you guys don't sign it, then we don't have any fire coverage, because I live in the township. And that makes you guys responsible, not anybody else, you guys. Because we won't have any fire coverage. So it's up to you guys whether or not you're gonna step up, and regardless of who's doing this and who's doing that. I heard this stuff last year. Well, the town's doing this and the township's doing that. Maybe we need to have a board all by itself that get you guys together and talk about things. Oh, there you go. That would be a district or a town or a territory. That would be awesome.
I do have a couple things. So and again, I've only been on this for 3 months. I don't know how you guys fully operate yet, but I know when this first kind of came up, everything was handed to me. I had no idea what's going on. I had no problem actually reaching out to Ben and asking questions myself. Ben was willing to sit down, go through everything, talk me through it. I questioned him on some stuff. We didn't agree on everything, but we don't have to. I mean, that's just human nature. But he did say he was willing to sit down with me, but he said he was never asked by anybody on the board to sit down and talk to him. And from him just being okay with me, and I even asked him to come tonight too, which was part of your point about him coming. He said he'd come to meetings and stuff. We asked him to come, but nobody's really has asked him to come. And then on top of that, I think have you texted him or called him and asked him? That's what personally.
We asked
Oh,
him
yes.
to come to a
Oh, yeah.
meeting,
He was
and
asked,
you know what the reply was from Dennis Ealing was? He doesn't have to come to your meeting.
Yeah.
You
We-
guys
we
don't have a
asked.
contract with
We
him,
asked.
it's with the town.
yeah,
I'm saying,
But he did, and I appreciate it, he did come, but we need that contract to make sure he does come and we can get answers.
June 22nd or 12th, when that June meeting was, I came to that meeting at the request of Larry and AJ asked me to come. And it was a very good meeting. It was a wonderful meeting. We discussed stuff. We talked about the tanker. I explained stuff. Mike Miller's at that meeting. We discussed the dispatch issues, and I explained stuff out. And then I left. And when I left, that's when you guys brought up everything, all the requirements that you wanted to add in, including being able to remove me from office.
No,
And if you watch
no,
the video,
no,
listen
no,
to the
Ben.
video. You never took that out.
it was crossed out, the paper had it.
Tim, let him talk, and then you can respond.
That was just one of the things. You wanted, there was a lot of different things in there, and you say that I answered those. No, I replied to the town. I said, I answered the questions to the town. The town contacted you and said, we agree with everything Ben said. I didn't answer you, I went to the town, they said those were the answers.
Well,
I have come to your meetings, I have no problem coming into your meetings, but when I'm lied about in your meetings, when I'm told mistruths about in your meetings, I'm done. I don't.
what was the mistruth?
You just said I put in there wanting to remove myself from office.
No,
You just said
no,
That's a
it was,
mistruth, Tim.
it was on a piece of vanilla paper. It was my notes. I didn't even want to give it up. I should have made Larry write them down because it was poor English. It was just jotted down, and he wanted a copy of it, and it had X's through that when I give it to him. So the paper got a copy of it. I don't know if she remembers it.
Larry actually typed that up. He was
It was on the distributed printed copy, but I do remember you saying you wanted it removed.
It was crossed out
remember
before I
saying,
give it
"Oh, I
up.
don't know if I want this on. I don't know if I want this on.
My media recollection is that yes, across the line.
But in the town meeting, if you go back and listen to the town minutes before you came to our meeting, Ben, Dennis said he doesn't have to come to your meetings. We're the ones that requested Larry tell you to come to our meeting because we wanted some answers. And Dennis said he doesn't have to come to your meeting because you don't have a contract with him.
And you asked me to come to the meeting, I came to the meeting.
You did that time. But what's wrong with putting us on the contract if we're paying $72,000?
I've already answered that 3 times in this meeting. You had my answer, I'm not changing.
I mean, 72,000 out of 129. Isn't it 129?
that's what they want this year.
I mean,
It's 122 last year.
Yeah, 72,000 out of the 129 is for manpower.
You know what it's for.
So there's no accountability.
And
Ready? Yeah, ready. This is Save Lives. Say it.
All right, I'm gonna have one final call for anybody who wants to make public comment. Please keep, we're trying to keep the comments calm, but please come to the desk to make your public comment.
Are you gonna let me talk again?
Yes.
I basically have a question.
Yeah, you have to come up, sorry.
All right.
Okay. You said when you first started talking that you had a new contract and they had put back all the things that were taken out,
No,
right?
he
You
said that.
You held it up and you said. they
No,
put
no,
back
that was
all
our old contract, and it had listed on the site all the stuff they'd removed.
But then you said it was put back in.
It
Isn't
was
that what
put
he
back,
said? Didn't he say that?
it was put back in after our meeting. This is the first meeting we had since it was
Okay.
put back in.
I
But
understand that. You haven't had a chance to, are you gonna look at that
we
tonight and sign it?
we've looked at that. We had a chance to look at it, but not discuss it in a public meeting. And there was some changes that I would request. Maybe these guys wouldn't. I don't know. And I just went over some of them. One, with that contract ended, when all our terms up, it leaves the township in limbo at the end of next year.
So, yeah, fix it by the end of next year.
Two was the part that I feel we need to be on the contract. This deal of having a contract between the volunteer firemen and these government entities, I'm not aware of any other place that has an incorporated contract for their firefighters between the public entities.
Have you been dissatisfied with their service?
I'm not dissatisfied with their service, but I'm not the,
Personally, not happy with it.
I'm not, I'm not happy with the way the township has been treated. Every request we've made in the last 2 years on budget has been turned down. It has never been acknowledged. This is the it's basically, this is the budget.
Thanks for coming up. That means.
We brought up things on this budget, but nothing was adjusted.
My name is Karen Ridman, and I live in the town of Ossian. And I was a trustee's investigator for 10 years and had the awful experience of sitting through a number of these meetings. I did it simply because of my loyalty to my bosses, because I found out they were constantly being run over and disrespected by at least 2 members of this board. According to the law, they are not allowed to negotiate. It's all under the guise of, I saw it as a personal vendetta. And I wanted to let the town know, or that when they looked into where we were as a township, our township was not paying its fair share in fire. Doesn't matter who they're paying it to, who their contracts are. They get half of the runs go to the township and half of the runs go to the town. The board insisted on that because they wanted to prove that they were not responsible for a higher amount of money. And since that happened 2 years ago, I got to the point where my husband asked me not to even go to the meetings because I would come home so angry with you. Especially when you're public servants, and I don't want your job, so I'd rather have you do it. And I'm embarrassed. I'm sitting back there embarrassed at you. Embarrassed. Like the one lady said, you're letting people burn down because you are angry with Larry. Then the last thing is the lack of respect for him and for Larry. And I had to sit and listen to that. David came in one day and told me he could record me any downtime he felt, and they put a camera to watch me. So they let me go because I said things to the camera. I don't know what he thought about it, but I didn't really cuss or anything, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I look at it like this. I walk out my door and there's a fire hydrant right there. And those guys are gonna come. But if you don't have a contract, they're not gonna come for the people who made, what's gonna happen when your barn burns down? What about that fire that we just had? So I just wanted you to know that I sat for 10 years under 2 different trustees and I saw you run on them. And I think it's really good if we have, like AJ just said, he's standing up to you and you are saying it's more about, well, we aren't getting our way, so we're going to let things go. And that's really why I had to come and speak, because people don't know. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. All right, one final call after that. We need to move on to,
Hi, I'm Maddie Fenstraker, and I just bought a house in the township. I would just like to know where the money will be going that you've already approved to go over, but since you're not signing the contract, where's that money going? Are you just gonna sit in an account? Does it go back to someone else? Are you gonna pay for those runs personally so someone can save my house or your fields? Is my question. That's a question.
so
Just asking.
any unused money stays within that budget. So if we don't use it, it stays in that budget and we carry your, stays in that budget, but we'll have to appropriate money if we need it for the future. So right now, our bank accounts have a good amount of funds in it. So there's no issue about not being able to fund anything.
How much money do we got in there, AJ?
Total
Yeah,
in bank
no, for the fire.
for the fire?
Yeah.
It is, should be on your sheet. I've got in there. And that's not including the money that should have hit the bank this, yesterday. So we have almost 130,000 sitting in our bank account as of last night when I printed the report, and that's not including the tax money, the property tax money we just got earlier this week. Because my clerk wasn't, she probably was in the office today reconciling the bank, so she would have caught any of that money. And that was another 35 to 40,000, I think, off the top of my head. I can't remember the numbers that we just got in from property taxes within this last couple of weeks. So we're close to, what, top of my head, that's what, 180 around that we're sitting on money right now.
Okay, so it's sitting there and it's already been approved to go out, but you just don't want to sign it. But even though these 2 men over here are kind of in agreement, but one doesn't count, but you 2 count as well, so it's you 3 right here, but you just don't want to sign it.
No, that's not the case. Would you cut me $130,000 check without you having any say so in it?
But if you, like you said, if you won't
Would
sit
you cut
down-
me $130,000 check without having one lick of say so in it?
No.
Okay, thank you,
I'm not done.
thank you.
Well, okay.
All right.
Hey, my name's Courtney Keller. I live on Highway 1, just north of 224 in the township. And I would absolutely cut you a $130,000 check to save lives. And in fact, my husband and I we had to cut a $130,000 check to save lives on Highway 1, where we had to pay for concrete in front of our business. That was my money. That was my money. Every single penny of that came out of my wallet. This is not your money. This is the taxpayers' money to keep us safe. That's what we do with our taxes. We pay to keep ourselves safe. So yes, you are here because taxpayers wanted you here to keep us safe. That is your job. That is your purpose, to spend the money that is already in the account to keep us safe. I did it out of my own personal money, and you know what? I just stepped it up. I did it because if it saves one life, it is absolutely worth it.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the agreement and
When we gonna discuss this page here? Is that under appropriations or is that now?
that's just for your information, FYI of what, where 2025 money's going. That's not part of the 2026 agreement.
No, but,
We will talk about that later. If you want to talk about it under transfer of funds, we can talk
well,
about it then.
that's what I wondered.
Yes, we'll talk about it then. Right now, it's where you guys are standing on the fire agreement and whether somebody's gonna make a motion to approve the fire agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve or agree with the cooperative fire agreement between the town of Ossian and Jefferson Township.
So there's no trying to work a proposal out from the township. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're too late in the year to do anything now, Tim, because I've given you plenty of time to give me feedback so I can take it back to the town. I've asked you to come to the town meetings.
We needed to do like we did last year. We came up with a proposal, we signed it and said, here's our proposal. We've never done that this year.
This is the same proposal from last year, besides the only thing
Yeah,
that changed. is
and
the
I
budget.
discussed that there needed to be some changes. And I tried to get a meeting with you. I sent you that email.
You didn't respond back to anything, what you want to change. If I don't have feedback, I'm not scheduling meetings. I need to know what's going on so I can know what to look forward to, what to understand is going on. I can't do anything without any knowledge of what's going on or what you're wanting to do. That's why I say communication is a two-way street. I need to know where you're coming from. How much stuff do I send out to you guys so you guys have all this information? I send that all the time. How many replies back do I get? Hardly none. Hardly none from anybody. When I send out information, I don't hear a peep saying, hey, what's this about? What's going on here? I don't hear anything.
AJ, I think you had another question.
Yeah.
Can I give a couple seconds?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Jeff Prager. I live just on the north edge of Ossian. Honestly, I don't believe we're considered Ossian limits where I live. We are, or township? Okay. So, I guess, I didn't educate myself on all of the fine details of what's going on here, but from what I've just heard here, this is kind of why I'm here, is to kind of get insight on what happened. Okay, or what is this, what's going about? So, I deal with multi-million-dollar contracts. That's what I do for my job. And what I do is get people in rooms, and I set up meetings. I do all of this stuff. Okay, there is people that are reluctant to come in these meetings, and they're not. But my job is to get them in the room and any way that's necessary and talk. So a lot of times it's almost like grown-up babysitting, okay? And I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think that there's really any excuses here. I keep hearing, oh, well, this, that, we could have this, I asked for this, I asked for that. I think we're beyond all of that. We're at the end of the year. The contract is there. If that's last year's contract, I understand that we don't have a carrot. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Maybe we don't have a carrot to hold in front of them anymore. But at the end of the day, it's too late. Maybe we can go into 2026. I think everybody in the public is aware that we need to have some meetings now. So let's get the town of Wauseon, let's get the fire department, let's get the Jefferson Township together, and let's set up some meetings and let's get moving. You know, at the end of the day, we have to have fire protection to save lives. So, you know, unless there's more to it than this, I understand you want some things in the contract. I'm not disagreeing with you. But at the end of the day, it is the end of the month or the end of the year. So we're kind of there. So I guess I trust that you guys will figure it out moving forward. So that's really all I had to say.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so there's been a motion on the floor to approve the 2026 fire agreement. Is there going to be a second on this fire agreement?
Quick question. Okay.
Yes.
This is the same contract as of last year that you all signed, correct? That's what this gentleman back here said.
The only thing that's changed is the dollar amount because of the budget has increased.
By how much?
I think what we're paying this year to the this year is about 7,000.
That's a kind of a drop in the bucket.
But do you think,
It's 7,000, you said?
do you think the township is being unreasonable by asking to be put on the contract that with all Aussian Fire Inc.? I mean, it was asked clear back in June.
I think it's unreasonable at this point in time that we don't sign a contract. We're at the end of the year. I agree with the gentleman back here. We're at that time, that moment in time that we need to get a contract signed. Then get your meetings going on for the next year. Start talking next year. You gotta talk. You gotta talk.
We
That's all I'm
did
saying.
the same
We
exercise
also need-
last year.
We also need the protection. We need the protection.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, once again, we've been counting down. I have a motion on the floor to approve the 2026 fire agreement. Do I have a second? I'll give you 1 minute. All right, there's no second. The motion dies. Fire agreement for 2026 will not happen. We'll move on to our next thing on the agenda.
So what is the plan then for fire protection?
He goes back to Florida to play double board. What are you gonna do?
Well, I understand he was already in town, but the rest of the.
All right, guys, all right, we'll move forward.
I'd like to know what
I
our
think
fire
everybody
protection is.
to know.
What is it?
I honestly, I don't know.
I'll ask the
All
board
right,
member.
transfers of funds for the end of the year, AJ.
I just tell you,
David,
guys,
Answer the question.
I'll answer for you. We have no,
Transfer of funds.
David,
It's dead. Transfer funds for the end of
So
the year.
what we're saying is, you guys have there's no fire protection, we have no plan, is what there is.
Transfers of
So-
funds.
Sorry, guys.
This is unacceptable.
I understand.
You can't get away with this.
Transfer of funds.
Majority of people can raise their, this is not, it's not your money, it's our money.
All right, crap, guys, we're moving on to our next, thing on the agenda. I apologize for not being able to get a contract done for next year. I've been in talk with our lawyer and we're working on something, what we can figure out what we can do.
Transfer of funds. What's that?
Is there a legal, do we have any
Transfer.
legal recourses? for
Yeah,
the
you would be able to
township?
sue, you'd be able to sue them, but his property's not in his name, there's no reason for that.
Transfer
All right,
funds.
guys, all right.
Transfer of funds, AJ. Let's move on.
Guys, we're moving forward. If you want to talk, you can talk out in the hallway. Thank you. So I sent you out so we're at the end of the year, we got to make sure all the accounts balance out. So we went negative in a couple accounts. So I've sent you sheets of where I'm transferring money from and where I'm transferring money to make everything get to zero balance. You guys have any questions about that?
Is it marked on here or what's the?
It's kind of, so yes, you see a transfer count, amount out, transfer in, so it's where the accounts are going from in and from. And you kind of see on that one is where I was in the negative or where I want to have a little extra. Because like assistance, I need a little bit more for housing because I've been having a couple people come in for assistance and before the end of the year, I want to make sure I have enough funds for that.
Thank you for all you do.
And thank you for all you do.
So you guys have any questions about my transfers for the end of the year to make the accounts balance?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, on fire, you're moving all that out of the individual accounts to.
Correct, to the fire contract, so I can make the final payment for the year. Well, because otherwise fire contract's in the negative already,
Right.
and then I gotta make one final payment for the year.
Uh,
So we're gonna still be short 84.57 because we had a fuel expense come through early in the year. I'm not sure if it was just like a credit card payment from last year, like they filled up before the end of the year last year. So it was the beginning of January when that payment came through. So that's why we're short.
Figured it was for the December fuel bill.
Correct, that's what it was. So that's, we're gonna be short 84.57. But,
Even after you transfer, you're gonna be short 84.57.
right, because we didn't factor in that for the budget. That 84.57 wasn't factored into the budget. So it came out of this year's
So
budget.
we gotta appropriate that out of last year's money.
I'll have to do that next year to factor in, because it's too late in the year to do any additional appropriations. I didn't catch that in time. So I can't do any additional appropriations for this year. So we're just gonna be short. So I'll have to do an additional appropriation in next year to catch up on the fire agreement, which I believe the town should be fine on that. Any other questions about my transfers?
I guess
I don't think so.
because some of it's probably not your fault, so.
Well, the $10,000 was not a justifiable expense.
Which one was that?
The one where Larry appropriated money in.
Yeah, he encumbered the funds from last year to pay the bill that came in
Yeah.
that came in late.
To see the contract ended last year.
But you still gonna encumber the funds to cover that bill that
No,
they were paying.
they ended that contract at the end of 24.
We'll
And
deal
for
with
us to
that.
have fire protection in 25, we just had the two payments. So we would have had fire protection without him encumbering them funds.
We'll take care of
that's-
that on the end of
But
the
Tim,
year.
then we will run into other issues with the town of Ossian on that, but that's beside the point.
We'll deal with that on the end of the year for the, what you call it? Annual financial report, we'll deal with that when that comes up. On what he did.
All right, you guys have any other questions?
I don't, looked okay to me. I hate it, we're $84 in the hole on the one, but especially when we got the money there.
Yeah, there's no, you can't transfer it out of no other fund, then you can't.
So I can only transfer within that fund. I can't transfer between funds. And all it is will just be short
Yeah.
on our fire contract payment is all we're gonna be. It'll be zero at the end of the year. We'll be short on our fire contract payment, which we're already gonna be short on our fire contract payment. Because our fire contract payment should have been 120,000, but we only budgeted 114,916.
We were paid on appropriate money.
Right.
We said that then.
Yeah.
Right, so
That we
that's all gonna have to be addressed next year.
Okay.
So do you have a motion to approve the transfers as presented?
I'll approve the transfers as presented.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Like I said, since I didn't have time to get additional appropriations in, we'll skip that one. All right, so the last thing on for right now is this.
This here, was we gonna talk about this?
We can address that in the final comments. Because it's not technically on the, it was more informational for you guys had that information. So we'll go to the social media policy.
Well, the social media policy came about because, I'm gonna get out what you posted on here. Would you take it down?
I have not taken anything down.
Okay. This is, one thing you posted on here was, the letter from the town, formal notice that the town of Ossian is terminating the existing fire agreement between the town of Ossian and Jefferson Township on December 31st. And that was dated October 23rd. That was the next day after our township meeting, where they had the contract that was not right. you said they had the wrong contract. But you never, and we told you that was the wrong contract. I sent you that. And you had that post plus another one that criticized the board for not approving that contract that was wrong, but you never went back and posted, well, the board didn't do it because of this contract, it was the wrong one. And it was a township page, and we deserve a little respect on that. And we had the same thing happen last year when you posted stuff, and we wanted to post a reply on the front page, and I'm not putting my replies in the comments. And that's why I came up with a social media policy. Is there a reason you didn't post that, hey, this was the wrong contract? You know, you criticized the board for not signing that contract, but it wasn't even the contract that you said it was.
Didn't you and Tim get into it last year over too, about he wanted to post something and you refused to put it up? You did, didn't you? Why? It's a Jefferson Township Facebook page, is it not? I mean, you and then you put on your account that you're looking out for the public's best interest when you refused Tim last year to put something on there.
What I'm doing, looking out for the public's best interest.
How? By you silenced him. You didn't allow him to put it on there.
He can make his own comments on there.
We tried last year.
We tried, and you, like I said, you refused to put it on there.
Are you guys gonna sign this or what? Are you gonna keep bashing me? Sign it and get over with this. I'm tired of your pettiness. Let's go. You sign it and get over with it.
This isn't petty.
It is.
We weren't treated fairly on this deal.
You guys gonna make a motion to sign this?
I don't. Whose resolution is it? Yours or his?
Yeah, this is mine. I'm not sure I want all of it on there. I gave it to you guys to look at it and decide what you want to do.
Well, I don't think that we
But-
should silence anybody. I think that the board and the trustees should have a full access to it and post on there what needs to be posted on there. They shouldn't be denied like there was.
Here's what you had.
Here we go.
Here's what you had on there. Notice regarding fire protection agreement. On October 22nd, 2025, the Jefferson Township Advisory Board refused to sign the 2026 fire protection agreement with the town of Ossian and the Ossian Volunteer Fire Department. On October 25th, 2025, the Jefferson Township trustee received formal notice from the town of Ossian stating the town will terminate the existing fire agreement between the town of Ossian and Jefferson Township. Effective December 31st, the Jefferson Township Trustee's Office is reviewing all options to ensure continued fire protection services for the township residents after this date. Updates will be shared as more information becomes available. But then the only way I could reply was I had to put a letter to the editor of why he didn't sign it and have it in the paper. And then you said, well, what are you seeing on this? And I sent you this paper that had all the stuff that had been deleted. And you never posted that or said, well, maybe they shouldn't have signed.
Why couldn't you tell me that? See, that's why I posted what I did, because you didn't send me any information until after you posted that editorial. You posted that
the same day.
Why couldn't you send me something that same day? No, you waited till I had to read it in the paper. Then I asked you, hey, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Why did I have to wait? Why couldn't I have that information that night or that next day before I post anything? No, you wait.
Because
it's a two-way street, Tim.
It didn't occur to me till a couple days later, and I went through it, and that's when I thought, well, I got to get this out there. This isn't right.
Okay.
And we had asked you to post stuff before you refused, so I figured it would be another refusal.
All right.
So, the comment part, I'm for taking no to Whereas to maintain civility, there will be no comments of any kind by board members, trustee, or the public be allowed on any postings. I'm willing to take that out, but I'm willing to put that on there. So the top part of what is permissible to be on there, so we don't get into these situations.
Like I said, my feelings are nobody should be, I mean, we shouldn't limit anybody from putting on there what they want.
I won't sign it if the no comments are in there. I
Well,
think
yeah, I mean-
I'm not gonna sign it if it's with that no comments. I think the public has the right to make.
They
comments.
I
do,
just
they
said
do.
take that out of it.
They do.
The main thing was, I didn't want to have to defend myself in the comments. And we kind of had that agreement last time that Facebook page was only going to be used for certain things, but then all this showed up on there. Didn't we? Didn't we have that agreement?
But guess what? The public needs to know what's going on too, so.
You're
But
correct,
you didn't
they do.
give them the full
You didn't give
story.
them the full
You didn't
story.
give them
Well, you don't give me the full story. How am I supposed to give a full story if I don't get it from you guys?
You can read, just like us. Don't you read the contracts before you send them out?
I agreed to the original contract, so I don't, either contract, the one that was incorrect and the correct one, I was fine with either one. That's why it's important for you guys to go to these town meetings too, to be able to see what's going on, not going on. Because I agreed with either contract. To me, it didn't matter. The contracts to me were, I understand what's going on. I work great with the town of Ossian. I don't have issues with anybody with the town of Ossian. I do have some issues, but I try to keep it civil where I can still work with the town of Ossian on stuff. I don't agree with everything they
Why do we
do.
not agree to work with the town of Austin?
You guys never show up to their meetings. That's when.
Jiminy Christmas, we can't as a board.
You
We
can.
can show up, but we can't make no comments or nothing.
Yes, you can. You're not voting on anything. You're not voting on anything.
We had this
All
discussion,
right,
AJ, in a.
Are we
had
gonna,
this
you guys gonna
discussion
do anything with this
in
resolution?
January. You gonna do anything with the resolution?
Yeah, I'm gonna cross out all of this whereas to maintain civility on the bottom. All that comes out, and I make a motion we approve it.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
I just don't want to restrict anybody from using the Facebook page. It should be everybody should have their equal say on there.
So are you gonna make a policy maybe that the board can post on there too then?
There's been a motion made on the floor. Is there a second?
Doesn't sound like it.
I mean, if you're gonna continue to keep the board members from posting on there or getting something posted on there, then we need to come up with something. Are you gonna continue to?
Motion has been made. Is there a second? Hearing no second, that motion has been,
Are you going to keep denying?
there
people
was a
access
motion
to
made
it?
on the floor and nobody's made a second. That motion has died.
Correct. So are you going to keep denying the board members access to the Facebook page?
All right,
Jefferson Township page? Are you not going to answer?
I'm not gonna answer. All right, final comments. If you want to talk about that, what the fire department's buying to buying for the end of the year, it's your time to talk about that.
Okay. Part 6 of our contract for 2025. Any funds budgeted by Jefferson Township and Ossian and not distributed according to the 2025 Ossian volunteer fire budget on or before December 31st, 2025 shall be paid equally to Ossian Fire Fund and Jefferson Township Fire Fund.
Okay.
So them funds,
They're being distributed before the end of the year.
not appropriation and distributed.
They appropriated and encumbered the funds at their last meeting. If you guys would show up to the last meeting, you would have heard that.
I see that on what they said, but I don't think that follows the contract.
That's how you guys could have been at that meeting to object to anything. You guys don't show up. I had no objections to how the fire department is running.
How can you say we, how can we show up when it's 2 out of 3 of us is a quorum?
But are we voting on anything? No.
I believe we,
All right.
if you go back, AJ, I believe we discussed that in a meeting, I believe back in January with somebody in the town of Ossian about that, about going to meetings and what we could do, and we could go as a group, but we could not say anything.
That doesn't sound
Without it being a, but you're telling us that then we can't speak up, so what are we gonna do there? Sit there and listen?
Who said you couldn't speak up?
Go back and listen to the minutes in the
That's
meeting,
beside the
AJ.
point.
You were in the
can
meeting,
talk.
you even yourself said you agreed with it. I mean,
Beside the point, you guys can show up to the meeting and have a comment. All right, any other comments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Larry sold 2 lots in the cemeteries, in them old cemeteries that hadn't had anybody buried in years. Does anybody know where them lots are so they don't dig into somebody's grave? Or where are we at on that?
I know Larry had everything plotted out. That's all I know. He's got books and everything where all the plots are, where they know people are. He knows where they weren't at an old Ossian. Larry did a lot of research on those cemeteries. He knows where pretty much everybody's buried at. Not 100% not old Ossian, but he knows where people weren't buried in old Ossian also. And that's where he's buried people.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if they come there and say, I want to dig my lot, does somebody know where that lot is?
The ones that Larry had was, I can't remember where.
Where'd that money
Larry
go?
put, what?
where's the money from?
It should have been in the account. I can't tell you where it exactly went, but it should have gone into the account.
It did, that, it was.
There is a cemetery board that probably could help finding that information. That covers the whole county.
I say no, be more.
How are you coming
DNR
on?
needs to do it.
Did you figure out where our cleaning supplies was?
I'll have to check with Larry. I don't 100% know.
Well, you
yet.
told me that. I asked you to check that before the last meeting. Wait, have you checked with him yet?
Find out here real quick. Anything else?
Yeah. How much money have you spent with that Coonrod accounting firm?
Whatever.
I had it totaled up. I was looking for that paper. It was like $7,000. And when they originally hired, they were going to protect our money for 1% of our budget. And that would have been like $2,400.
I think that was their fee because their fees are different, but also she took on more than what was originally scheduled for. Because she was expecting Larry to be there and have everything done. She ended up helping me out. So that's where that additional cost came from.
Well,
I needed a lot of help to start out.
there was 2 charges though. There was another $1,200. That first one was supposed to be 2,400 something, and it was 34. And then there was a 1,200, and then there was another fee. I'm looking for the paper later, and I'm just trying to figure what some of them later ones are.
They don't work for free, Tim.
I know, but what do you have done? Do you remember. I know,
She helped me with the budget. She helped with the setting up our, fire and road fund, or not fire, the road, what is that? It's not it's a road improvement plan. It's why did I go blank on that name? Infrastructure plan. She helped set that up. She helped me with the budget, and she's helped me with some other things. That way we can keep Jefferson moving. So that's where that additional cost came from, because we needed more help than what we knew we needed help with. All right, any others?
What about where are we with them investments that we had?
They're
We
still under money.
We haven't seen a report. How
You
many
got
of
it in
them
your,
do we,
you got it in your packet.
how many of them do we have?
There's one for each fund. So you got rainy day, you got
Okay,
general,
well,
fire, assistance, and fire debt. So there's 5 different funds.
Well, Larry had mentioned when I was listening to the minutes today, back in January, that he was gonna add 3 more. We had 3 and he was
No,
adding 3 more.
We had 2 last year. All we had was,
I don't know, he
it
said,
was-
he
I think-
just stated he had 3 and he was gonna add 3 more
maybe
when.
he misspoke on that. He had 2 last year. He added 3 this year. That is a Larry question on that one, but he must have misspoke because we only have 5.
So, okay. Okay.
here it is, 7106 is what he spent with Coonrod, 7106.74. So you had two different bills from them while you were in AJ?
Correct.
Okay.
And where are we on that, the
What?
Larry situation? No,
With
no
the
word
cutting
from
chemicals?
anybody? No, from what you told
You're
us.
asking the wrong person. It's, last time I knew it was in the hands of the state of Indiana. That's all I know. I have not heard any updates from anybody. So if you want to ask somebody, you need to ask the state. All right, any other comments?
Make anything else? Anybody from the public, got anything else they want to say?
Not politely. But I mean, what's
Okay.
the plan? What's the plan now? Fire. I mean, you gotta schedule another meeting?
I'll have to get feedback from these guys, what they want to do. That's where I'm at. I can't do anything by myself. I need feedback from these guys, so that's where I'm at.
That's fine. I'm asking all of you.
Yeah, I need feedback from these guys, so.
What are you as a group, whatever position you're in, what are you going to do now?
What I really wanted to do was sit down with the attorney again and come up with a proposal that we present to Ossian rather than sitting and say, they say this is it or the highway.
Okay, so we need to make haste and do that.
Yeah,
And then
that would be
schedule-
and that's what we did last year. And we did it last year because we had a meeting and we said we wanted to have an executive session. The attorney said, no, we can't do that. So Larry was made aware of it, but us as a board cannot hire the township attorney. All we are responsible for is the money. It has to be AJ that says, okay, it's okay if you sit down with the attorney and come up with something.
Okay, so then I would recommend that you do that very quickly and then get another meeting scheduled so that we don't run out of time.
Are
Can we
you,
extend for like a month
are
or
you-
2? Is there a way to not do the full year, but maybe a couple months so that we still have protection.
AJ?
That would be up to the other party. I mean, we could agree to that on our end, but that's nothing that says they'll do it.
You just need to get it done. You need to get it done.
All right, any other comments?
JJ, anything? Good?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion that you're.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.